From the desert of Bahrain to the sweeping dunes of the North Sea, welcome back to round 2 of season 13 for CRL at the Dutch GP, live from Zandvoort. It's a track stepped in history and reborn from the modern era. Zandvoort is a tight, twisty and utterly relentless and narrow rimming of tarmac weaving through the dunes with barely a moment to breathe around this track. Featuring 14 corners and 4.2 kilometres, this track is famous for its bold banking at turn number 3, which a name I can't pronounce, which I'm not going to do. And the dramatic final turn as well, in towards the final corner in the banking with the DRS can be enabled as well. And home to many people in this league, such as Jasper, Sieve, Sweetcrown, Jeroen, Vizza, Den Dave, Mick, and I think ILT Bob here as well. Sorry if I missed anybody out there, but majority of people in this lobby are Dutch, so we're looking for victory at the home Grand Prix then. So the desert in Bahrain to the North Sea in Zandvoort, hopefully we'll have a good race around here, even though it is a short, tight, twisty circuit which can be very difficult to overtake. You've got the DRS, of course, in the middle sector from turn 10 all the way towards 11, but we don't really see many overtaking possibilities down in towards there, unless, of course, somebody has got a major tyre advantage. You don't really see overtakes happening there, but something can happen. Maybe in the first lap we'll see a few people do that. If some people get caught out, the exit of turn 10 as well, because this corner is very critical. If you make a mistake out here, you have massive wheel spin, then your rival behind you might pounce on you and overtake you down in towards this corner as well, in towards the chicane, where it can be a bit difficult as well. We saw Verstappen, I think, in practice spin through here. But here we go then, and of course, on board with the Williams driver. Now Williams, they've crashed around here so many times as well. Logan Sargent, I think, remember crashing twice in one race weekend in qualifying in the race. Alex Albon endured a bit of crash as well. Nicholas Latifi as well also crashed, and also Logan Sargent in 2024 when he crashed at the exit of turn 3, and that sealed the deal. And it's announced Franco Colapinto for the next race as well, which was the Monza Grand Prix, I believe. But Ronnie Stifford is headed down in towards turn 3, and it seems nice and tidy so far as we head up towards Hill, towards Skyflop, and it's going to be a 24.1 in the first sector as we head down towards turn 7. A slight downshift, but still flat out as we now make our way towards the high-speed corners in towards 6. Massive stim input as well there from Ronnie Stifford as he heads down in towards 8. Now coming through turn 9 he goes in towards the left hand. You want to try and get as close to the apex on the entry as much as you can, but didn't quite hook up there, unfortunately for him, as he heads down in towards the chicane. It's a 48.7 there for Ronnie Stifford as he misses the first part, as he nicely hooks it in towards the second part as well. It can be very difficult, especially as well when tyres are very hot in the stage, heading towards the final 2 corners in towards this banking. DRS is enabled too, so it's foot to the floor all the way towards the checkered flag and the finish line as he's about to make his way towards the line to start or set his first run. So it's a 10.1 there for Ronnie Stifford. Behind him are his competitors, and let's see who else. So there, Harrison just crossed the line to start flying lap. Here comes Harry Palmer. Jasper goes quickest with a 9.714. Here comes Harry Palmer, goes up into P2 just behind Jasper as well. And Jasper, who made his debut in 2022, I think it was in season 8, and he didn't really have a lot of luck as well. He did suffer a lot, did ILT Jasper, but hopefully 3 games later he is quicker and we'll see the best of him as well, because it's been a long time away. Of course, he's an admin for ILT, and let's see how he does around this circuit then. As we see, Rez goes quickest with a 9.484 there for the Kicksabers. Kicksaber were relatively strong back in Bahrain, both Leroy and Resify, and then Dave goes quickest as well with a 9.53 by 300 of a second as Harrison spun at the exit of turn 10 there. And I wonder, was he a bit greedy on the exit? Did he touch the grass onto the entry towards turn 10? I'm not quite sure, but however, it has completely ruined his lap time. Both Williams, however, nice slipstream there, so let's see what happens between these two. That's what his stiff will give a speed kind of slipstream. Here comes the Dutchman towards the line, and the Dutchman goes quickest with a 9.136. I'm expecting a lot of things from a certain driver tonight, and his name, wherever he is Sieb Royal Gamer in P9. I think Sahili won as he goes a bit deeper towards turn 1 there to see, but maybe the high line at the exit of turn 1, but gets on the grass as well towards turn 3, flip the car in, down towards the back end, and this has been a stinker of a lap there for Sieb, just all over the place, and that lap time has been ruined. But Divorce up into P2, not bad for him. I do believe he took part in the realistic event. I think he was a tier 2 driver, if I'm mistaken, up towards Division 1. Then Dave, however, is also an outlier as well. around this circuit as IR Leroy goes up into P3. The Div 2 commentator is up into third place with a 9.284, so 300 slower exactly in comparison towards Devos there. So there are your first lap time sets by people, as Bompia is the first driver to get himself inside the 8.9. Seems a bit disappointed, expected a win off Bahrain, but Sweetcar's strategy was meticulous and absolutely amazing, and he managed to come through the field on his brand new semi compound tyres, kept him alive as well. His tyre management was supreme during the Bahrain Grand Prix, which enabled him to catapult his way up the order and overtake Nathan and Bompia as well. Bompia as well. So Sweetcar did an amazing job last time out in Bahrain. But here in Zandvoort, things could change. Sweetcar, why do I get Sweetcar and Isa Kush mixed up? For some reason, every time I see that name, I always think it's Sweetcar, but it's not. Nowhere near. Two different people, of course, but yeah, it is Isa Kush, I meant to say, who finished in P3 despite getting spun around at turn 3. Harrison goes up to P6, that's his first lap time. P7 now, because I do believe a certain P's is up into P4 with a 9.283. Jeroen Visser is up into P6 there in the Haas, expected to be quick as well. But the first driver in the 9s, or 8, sorry, is Bompia. What an absolute amazing lap there for ILT Bompia. There it is then, there's the lap times. First lap times pretty much set. Steve Gamer is on his second lap on those set of soft compound tyres. Let me get the telemetry up, there we go. Lacking a bit tonight, but of course I don't have my co-commentator with me, Rob. Unfortunately, I have no idea where he is. He hasn't put in the chat where he is, so it's me tonight, unfortunately. Although I would love for somebody to be in the chat with me. But see, the exit of the chicane, let's see how he does, progressing towards the final corners where we saw, I think, the Williams of Alex Albon's been here before as well. Here we are with the DRS wide open for Sieb as he makes his way plunging downhill, now towards the finish line. Let's see where the Dutchman could go. It's a 8.5! Oh my goodness me, what a mega lap there from Sieb, who puts the RB into first place with a stonking lap time, and he threw everything at it. His first lap was messy, but nevertheless, he got into it very quickly on his second run. What a lap time there for Sieb, as we see Dari, the only driver on the grid who hasn't set a lap time just yet. So, down to P19 is the Ferrari man. Bosch Evans is his teammate in P13 there as well. Bosch Evans endured a puncher at the Bahrain Grand Prix, so hopefully his luck will change. He hasn't done any laps other than 10-20 minutes ago, so he hasn't really got a lot of info or feeling around the circuit, so maybe a bit rusty here, but a 9.631 is not too bad considering he was fighting just about 40 minutes ago. Ronnie Stiffwood is up into P17 in the Williams then with a 9.9. As we see Dari down in P19, let's see what the Ferrari could do as he makes his way towards the final two corners. Dari and the other Ferrari driver, not the Ferrari driver, but the other German, what was his name? I can't exactly remember, apologies about that. But here comes Dari towards the line. Taupe, yeah, Relentless Taupe, I don't think he's here tonight, as Dari goes up into P5, and that is a good lap time there for the Ferrari. Dari and Taupe, they seem to be like inside the top 10 most of the time. We haven't really seen them take a podium just yet in CRL. They've been fighting for the lower end of the points. Here was Harrison on his fourth lap, I believe, on the set of soft compound tyres. So he's still going and still going strong. Here he is towards the line, a 9.2, and that is on 4-lap old set of soft compound tyres. So expect him to be blistery quick when he puts on a new set of soft compound tyres, when he lowers the field as well, and peak grip from those softs on his first lap. Expect it to be an absolute flyer. Here comes Den Dave in the middle centre. A 10th up is Den Dave, and also Den Dave can be quick at times, but inconsistent, it must be said. He does struggle in terms of long page longevity, and we're looking to try to improve on that. Here he is towards the finish line. He goes. Let's see what the Dutchman could do. The Dutchman goes or stays up into P10 ahead of Reservoir, but Reservoir is going for a flying lap around here in Zandvoort. And here comes. Yes. I don't know why. Every time I go on board with this driver, I want to call him Sweetcar for some reason. Obviously, it's not Sweetcar, completely different names. I just can't get my head around the fact he's Isak Kush for some reason. But Isak Kush is 2/10 up in the first sector. Nice first sector for him. And can he keep it nice and tidy towards the initial sector? Looks blisteringly quick as well as we head towards turn 9 we go. Coming towards left-hander turn 10. Up through the gears and downshift, trying to rotate the car as well. He doesn't really take a tight line going in towards turn 10 there, just left a bit of leeway. A Haas has spun, I think, out of the final corner. Is that costing him? It is. He's spun, unfortunately, towards the final corner. as I go back on board with Isak Kush in the Red Bull as he makes his way towards the final two corners. I think he's won 2 or 3 Grand Prix, has Isak Kush. He almost won his home Grand Prix, but unfortunately got taken away from him due to a penalty for contact with Jeroen. Here comes Isak Kush towards the line. Let's see what he can do. It's going to be P4, so not a bad effort at all from Isak Kush there. And Speedcrown is only a 10th up in the first centre. Tried to beat Bob Pierce's time, but nobody is beating Seville Gamer. Reservoir the Williams, or Saba, sorry, has gone up to P3 with a 9.074. Decent competitive lap time for him on his 2-lap old set of soft compound tyres. The next one on the road is Speedcrown as he makes his way towards the final 2 corners. He goes with the battery he has, with the tyre grip he has as well. He makes his way towards the line. DRS wide open as we power our way down towards the straight. Let's see if he can try and take P3. He can. I don't think pole was in the question for Speedcrown because he was a bit too far away. Was Speedcrown for pole, but nobody is beating the sweat of Seville Gamer in first place. He has absolutely sweated out here because he had to do qualifiers. I think there was an event going on and he was a part of the esports qualifiers as Jeroen Visser goes up into P2, so giving Steve a bit of competition here. It's a Dutch 1, 2, 3 and 4. So, nice effort there for the Dutchmans as here we go towards the final 2 corners for De Morts in the McLaren. I think somebody else has moved up the order. I think it was Leroy. It was. He goes up into P7. And here comes De Morts now as he makes his way towards the line. Let's see where he can go. He goes up into 4th. Not bad, you know. A very handy lap time there for De Morts. Very surprised. An outlier on the grid, in my opinion, up into 4th place there. So, catching me off surprise. I wonder what Kickstarter could do this week because they did a 2-shot strategy and it seems like the 2-shot strategy was not the way to go. It cost them dearly as well and it puts them down the order. Here comes Mick, who finished in last place at the Bahrain Grand Prix as he makes his way towards the line. P15 only for the Dutchman there. It's a 9.4 and it's much better than what I could do. I don't know what my lap time was because I practiced with the Dutchies a few weeks ago around the circuit and I was so much slower. These guys were in the 8s, like low 8.23, and I was stuck in the 9s. And I was thinking to myself, damn it, I'm very, very slow. But they're esports drivers. They've got esports setups. They're in high divisions in PSG and elsewhere, so expect them to be quick. I'm just a regular commentator, so I'm not really a part of the racing scene anymore. As we see what is Stiffwood, he makes his way towards the line. He goes. It's going to be P16, so gets ahead of Bosch Evans and Farrell, who goes in the pit lane, and Cross there, who seems to be struggling once again. A few minutes left to go in qualifying. There is 5 minutes left to go in qualifying, so the final runs will be completed very soon. It is a short track, 4.2, 2.6 miles, or 4.2 kilometers, sorry, and 2.6 miles long. So you can get away by doing multiple laps because places like Singapore, Baku, Abu Dhabi, for example, and also Belgium, where the track distance is very long indeed. So only about 3 to 4 laps there. But if you make a mistake around here, how on earth are they getting a one stop to work? My pad tire wear is absolutely atrocious. Yeah, I'd be surprised if people could do a one stop, but I've seen so many surprises before. Bahrain, it was just on the verge of a one stop. I tried doing a one stop in Bahrain in another league last week on Sunday, but I just couldn't do it for some reason. I got a puncher. I don't know how these guys manage their tyres as well. Here comes Darwin towards the line. He goes up into P7. So nice effort for him inside the top 10 there. He's separated by 0.05 of a second from Isak Kush in P8. So let's see what Steve's doing. He's down in towards the chicane by 600 down is Seville Game. I think has he backed off. He sees a bit slow at the exit there, but he makes his way towards. Yeah, he's backed off. So that lap time there wasn't good enough for Seville Gamer. But I'm going to be so intrigued to see how the one-stop strategy works. Is it going to be a one-stop? Is it a two-stop for some people? Because some people are absolutely smooth and fluorescent on the steering as well. It's all about, I think in the first stint when he stuck behind the DRS train, like Speedcrown, he wasn't going for it. He was staying behind in the DRS train, just keeping his tyres alive, making sure he didn't really put unnecessary wear into them by going side by side. He was playing the long, patient waiting game, and it paid dividends for him later on the Grand Prix as well. So we could see a bit of that, a bit of time management as well in the first stage, because even though people push too hard in the first stage, it might bite them back, and therefore the people that save tyres in the first stage or the first stint may pay dividends for them later and benefit them later on the Grand Prix as well. That's what we probably saw from the Kick Saubers, although they had to do a two-stop because they went medium hard, so there was no tyre saving there for them. It was all pure pace, but unfortunately it didn't work. A two-stop is just too time-consuming. So majority of people in the pit lane, as we see Bosch Evans in the Ferrari. Let's see what he's doing. He's getting back in the pit lane too. So there is 3 minutes left to go in this qualifying session, and so far it is C4 Gamer who is on pole with an 8.542. Giroud Visa in P2 with an 8.761, and a few hundreds back is Bompia in 3rd place, with DeBorts in 4th place with an outstanding effort to put that McLaren in P4. Sweet Crowd though is trying to get inside the 8.9s or 8 club. He's only a few hundreds away as Reservoir is on an out lap. So let's see the Kickstarter's progress, as Reservoir is the first one out of the circuit. Now, he has returned back to IRT Academy, of course, so I'm intrigued to see how he does and how he progresses further on into IRT. I wonder though, if Kickstarter changed the strategy, what could it have been for them? Because their pace was blistering as well. We saw how aggressive they were in the first stint, but it had to do with two-stroke strategy, so they got stuck in the second. They got stuck in traffic where they had to pit for the second time, and therefore lost the lead of the Grand Prix. Reservoir has started his lap as we head down in towards turn 1 there, not really taking the apex, as we head out of turn 1, quick towards 2 and 3. Flick our way towards 3, lift off as we head down towards the downhill braking or banking of turn 4. You can have loads of grip as well there as well. You can take multiple different lines in towards turn 3. A tight banked right-hander, a highly curved as well, highly cambered, sorry, as we head towards the first sector. Oh, never mind then, a second down. ILT Leroy will go on board with him. I think he's doing a second lap, a second out lap. So it looks like Sauber think that doing 2 out laps is the best way to go. So let's see if their strategy works. On board then with ILT, Mick also seems to be the one who is backed off as well. So that's quite intriguing. 3-4 drivers who are going for a second out lap, getting more temperature in towards the tyres, making sure that the absolute peak as well. As we head towards Harry Palmer, he is on a lap as we head down in towards turn 3. We've seen him on the gravel, so I wonder if he had a bit of excursion out of turn 1 as he clips the grass on the edge towards the exit of turn 4, climbing uphill towards the highest part of the circuit. Massive elevation change, nice wide angle going in towards turn 7 there, fully flat out, heading towards the double header, turn 8 and turn 9, in 6th gear, keeping the car planted as well as we head in towards the right hander. We go, slow it down in towards the back of the throttle, immediately making sure you break trash on the exit as we head in towards turn 10. This left hander want to get close to the apex as possible as well, hoping that the car rotates very nicely, hoping you don't endure understeer through that particular part of the section, because you feel like you spend a long time in that corner if you sustain understeer. So Harry Palmer exits the chicane as we make our way towards the final 2 corners. Let's see how he takes it. Very nice indeed. Harry Palmer is about to complete his final run here in qualifying. Let's see what his reward is. Can he get himself inside the top 10? He can't. It's only P12 for Harry Palmer then. A disappointing qualifier. The Sieb extends the bar again. It's 2/10 quicker than his previous best. What a lap time from Sieb. Can anybody beat him? He has a 4/10 margin over the rest of the field then. He was one of the people that was expected to win the Grand Prix, and Bompia too. Giroud, I didn't quite see if he was up or down the middle sector there, so he might have been down or up, I'm not quite sure, but we'll find out towards the end of the lap. Here comes Giroud, Reservoir is done, Reservoir goes up into P4, and Harrison goes up into P6 in the Alpine. Sweetgrad goes P5, and here comes Giroud as he makes his way towards the line. He goes, it's P2. He did improve just slightly though. And where's Bompia? Bompia only a few hundreds up in the middle sector. Here he is towards the line. He goes up into P2. It's an ILT 1-2 and separated by 2/10 of a second. Leroy goes up into P9 in the Kickstarter. Here comes Dari now, the Ferrari driver, making his way towards the line. Let's see where he could go. Up into P9. Look at that, 8.999. That's very good indeed. Here comes Jasper. He has a validated. Mick has, let's see what he could do. In the McLaren goes up into P15, displaces Jasper, and Cross Liam is not on a lap time. And that will conclude that will see the end of qualifying then, guys. We move on to the race, and your pole sitter is Sieb World Gamer in first place. An outstanding effort there from the Dutchman, chucking the car in, carrying the speed through, nailing and mastering every single breaker zone as well. And let's see what is going to happen in the race. Apparently it's going to be rain, so let's see then if Sieb's pace in qualifying transpires in towards the race, and if it doesn't, will he have difficulty in the Grand Prix? Low wings, no grip at all through the corners when you need it as well. This track is a high-speed roller coaster, one of the most technical and physical demanding tracks of the calendar. And there is your qualifying times then. It is Simon Paul ahead of Bompia. Yeruva's in P3, Reservoir 4th place ahead of Speedcrown. Demort 6th place. Great effort for him in 6th in the McLaren. Harrison's P7 ahead of P's. Darby's P9. Leroy's in P10. Isa Kush. Well, I don't know why I want to keep calling him Speedcrown. It's so annoying actually. Harry Palmer's in P12. Then Dave 13th. Bosch Evans, Mick, Jasper, Woody Stiffwood, Cross Liam, and Pharrell down in P19. Of course, we're missing one person. It is AJ Wuhan because he's suffering from hay fever. I am suffering from hay fever too. It seems like I want to sneeze every time, and the back of my throat is quite tingly. Yes, but hay fever is not nice at all. For those who have it, for those who don't have it, you're very lucky indeed. And look at that, full wet race around here at the Dutch GP, like it was, I think, in 2023. I think it was like half dry to begin with, and it got wetter and wetter. Remember Verstappen, he rejoined in the P14, and he's made his way through the field, because Perez was the first one to pit in 2023, and it worked for him. He led the Grand Prix, but Verstappen gained seconds and seconds off of Perez, and Verstappen took the lead with no problems at all. Perez actually finished outside the podium too, because Alonso was second and Gasly was third, whilst Perez had a 5-second penalty for some unknown reason. I can't remember what it was. Was it because of a red flag infringement? Joe Garnier went off at turn 1. It was pouring down towards the end of the Dutch GP in 2023. We haven't even talked about the British GP, because qualifying goes so quick. It's actually packed with 20 drivers out there trying to take pole. What an amazing classic British GP, like it was last year. I still think the British GP last year was better than this year's, but of course the British GP this year was absolutely amazing to watch as well. We saw Hulkenberg finally get his first Formula 1 podium at Silverstone as well, unexpectedly from start to P19. It finished in P3, and for those people who watched the race, as Kuhn is in the chat. Huchatet Kuhn, nice to see you in the chat as well. Hopefully you're doing all right. You're supporting your viewers in PSGL and also here in Cone. But I really thoroughly enjoyed the British GP. With Norris winning the Piastri second, yes, the decision was controversial and based on a penalty. But it was a spectacular win for Norris as well. Piastri P2, Hulkenberg in P3, and Hulkenberg as well. 239 race starts in Formula 1 without a podium. It's taken him so long because 2010 he took pole in Brazil, and in his rookie year in the Williams. Then 2012 he led majority of the Grand Prix but spun out of turn 7 at the exit of Ferradura and gave the lead back to Hamilton. If it wasn't for that, Hulkenberg would have definitely won the Grand Prix. And he made contact with Hamilton down towards turn 1. He still finished in 5th place with a 10-second penalty. But Hulkenberg has been waiting for such a long time. Remember Singapore 2017 when he was in 3rd place or fighting for a podium, then his engine blew up. 2019 German Grand Prix. Oh, that race was painful too because he was in 3rd place at the time, doing a solid job. And then he crashed out at turn 16, the skating ring, as most people called it back then. The track returned back into 2021 after a long hiatus away. I think 1985 was the last Dutch GP. They returned in 2021, and Verstappen took the victory in his championship-winning year against Hamilton. And what a Grand Prix! He won three Dutch GPs in a row. But of course, Lando Norris was the one to win in 2024. Every single driver on the intermediate tyres, you don't want to do what Leclerc and Russell did and start on the hard compound tyres. I don't know why they made that strategy. It was clearly wet on the circuit. The last sector was absolutely slippery. And for some reason, they thought it was a good idea to put on the dry compound tyres, the slicks and the hard tyre out of all of them. Quite a strange strategy there. Especially for, I'm not surprised about Ferrari, but Mercedes though. A huge blunder in the race. But here we go then, the race is about to get underway for the second race of the season, for the first one in Bahrain, in the desert, to the North Sea, in Zandvoort. Let's see what happens as the lights are on the gantry. 3, 4, 5 lights. And we are underway for the Dutch GP here in Zandvoort, it seems. C gets a very good start, covers him off, and as we head down towards turn one there, Bompia, but C goes deep in the breaker zone. Can Bompia take the lead? He goes side by side with C, but C gets a much better exit around the outside in towards turn one, as C maintains the lead of the Grand Prix. Look at the Haas Giroud under massive pressure. Now Reservoir is alongside a bit, he breaks later going in towards turn three, but Reservoir is still down the outside. The Williams in the back of the sweet car looking interesting, but Reservoir gets a much better exit, better traction. Then the Haas driver to go side by side all the way up towards turn 7. But look at Giroud, stays in P3 there. Great race between those two. Remember, I think last year in 2024 there was a massive shunt in Formula 2. I can't remember who it was, but there's a big crash indeed. But seems that every single driver so far, fingers crossed, has made out unscathed for the time being then. It's still Sieb who leads the Grand Prix, and mega start went right to chop across the front wing of Bob Pierre to defend from him. And here comes Sweet Crown now putting pressure. The McLaren and D-Morse goes a bit wide in towards turn 10, may open up a door for Pease in the background to go through. But Sweet Crown now in P5 looking to overtake Reservoir as we head down in towards the chicane. The heavy braking zone. Will a few people get caught out in this braking zone? Let's find out, shall we? As the McLaren and Mick there goes a bit wide towards the braking zone. But look at Sweet Crown putting big pressure on Reservoir. Reservoir who was fighting with Jeroen in the early stages, now has lost time towards Jeroen. The top three are pulled away. And here comes Sweet Crown on the back of Reservoir. He needs to make the move immediately because he's losing so much time against Reservoir as we head down in towards turn 1. Can Sweet Crown make a lunge up the inside towards turn 1? The level pegging, the Mercedes and the Alpine in the background. Palmer and Pease going side by side, but it seems like Pease and Harry Palmer still side by side. Pease just stays behind for the time being then. As we see Sweet Crown around the outside in towards turn 3. Can he make it stick? That'll be a sensational move if he can make it stick. Look at that, better X on around the outside. He can! What a mega lunge from Sweet Crown. Wow, you don't really see overtakes there on the outside, but better grip, better traction, better pace. Sweet Crown has been released into P4. And look at Sieb. Sieb has pulled away from Jeroen Visser in P2 there. So great pace in qualifying transpires into a great race in the race as well. There is 36 laps left to go in this Grand Prix, and here comes Harry Palmer now looking for a move there, but Pease is on his inside in towards turn 10. It looks like Pease gets a better exit than Harry Palmer. He puts himself now up into P7 ahead of the RP driver as Harry Palmer goes back down the inside in towards the chicane as Pease is forced off the road there. Has to go off the gravel, and a bit of dirt on his tyres as well. Here comes Leroy now, looking to try to take advantage, but the Haas at the back or across the lane has gone for a spin. Unfortunately as well, down there the P19 had a terrible qualifying, and unfortunately had a terrible race as well. Here comes the McLaren and D-Morse, but the Sauber actually breaks later than the McLaren driver. Here comes the Sauber and the Alpine side by side in towards turn 1. Harry Palmer, though, under such pressure, trying to overtake Pease, trying to re-overtake him, but he has the Sauber and the Alpine, his teammate behind him. Look at the Ferrari, and look at Dead Dave going side by side. Dead Dave gets ahead of Bosch Evans for the time being then, as they swoop downhill in towards turn 3. And the Sauber, Leroy, gets a messy exit, and now all contact between those two, as Harrison there trying to get past the kick Sauber. Now he's alongside him, but backs off for the time being then, so it must have been a mistake as he headed down in towards turn 7 there. All these drivers fighting for grip, fighting for traction as well in the early stages of the Grand Prix, trying to figure out where the grip is. I'm not quite sure how many people have done any wet practice, but so far it is Sieb who leads. But look at the background, Bompier's made a mistake, and Sweet Crown is all over him, ready to capitalise at any given moment. So a bit of a mistake there from Bompier at turn 10, went a bit deep, and now Sweet Crown is looking to put the pressure on. And once again, Bompier slides in towards the chicane there as well. So I wonder his setup is the tyres overheated just a bit there. And Leroy once again finds himself with Harry Palmer. Palmer's been pushed down the order as well as Leroy slides in towards the final two corners and gives up the place towards the RP drivers. And the Mercedes of Den Dave is what in the background lurking there and looking for an overtake as well. And Bosch Evans is right behind, so Leroy's under massive pressure as we head down towards turn 1. Look at this, almost 3 abreast in towards turn 1 there. The Ferrari up the inside of the Mercedes. Let's see, can he make it stick? There's barely any space given between those two as they wheel bang all the way out of turn 1. But the Ferrari is still down the inside as Dave swoops through and almost take out the Ferrari going in towards turn 3 there. So Bosch Evans there will be complaining and asking what the Ferrari driver is doing, Mercedes driver is doing. But Sieb will gamer though. Despite his early advantage, Jeroen seems to have found a bit of pace there in the Haas. So it's a Dutch 1, 2, 3, 4. It's so far Jeroen versus Sieb for the lead of the Grand Prix. And these two are checked out, but Bobpia has been left out there in P3, defending from Speedcrowd. Speedcrowd has always got some amazing pace in the Williams as well. He's putting big pressure on Bobpia as well. Bobpia versus Speedcrowd for the championship is going to be an interesting one. But Sieb as well. The top four, these four, I think, have a massive chance of a championship. They're all so quick in their different ways as well. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses around different circuits. Some consistent, some make mistakes. Sieb has made a lot of mistakes last season, but at the same time, though, I dare say a bit unlucky. I don't think we can count last season really, but Sieb in season 11 just really struggled down the inside. I thought for 1 second there, Jeroen would go down the inside as Pease is also making progress. He's up into P5. Great move from Pease. He overtook Palmer and Demorts as well, and Leroy for good measure. Now he's up into P5. So great comeback from Pease. His next target is Speedcard. He's been at 3 places so far during the course of this Grand Prix. No DRS, of course, for assisted drivers to overtake down the straight. So it's all about battery, all about wings. But look at Jeroen putting so much pressure on Sieb in front of us. If I remember correctly, was Sieb Raw Gamer in a podium a couple of seasons ago and he had to defend against somebody else? Am I thinking about the wrong league? Because I remember a situation like this where it was wet and somebody was in P3 at the time. And the guy behind was pushing such big pressure. Is that speed crowd down the inside towards 10? It's not. But is the track getting better as well? I don't think it is. Are we going to see the slick compound tyres much later in the Grand Prix? Is it going to stay intermediate for the whole race and stay wet around here in Zandvoort? Bobpia once again goes deep in towards the chicane. So it's not really having a good time, is he, around here in Zandvoort? Maybe those tyres overheating. Maybe the setup is not to what it's like at all. Because Speedcrown seems to find a lot of pace, but overtaking is so difficult in Zandvoort, especially in the rain. All you need, really, is a really good exit out of these corners, especially in the main straight. So a good exit out of turn 10, a good exit out of the final corner, and you should be alright. It's so easy to save battery in the wet conditions because you're not on full throttle majority of the time. So we see drivers harvesting in the first middle sector, but Speedcrown unable to get past the Dutchman. All it takes for Bobpia is one small mistake, and he should see Speedcrown through. Bobpia was seen just struggling everywhere. Speedcrown 2 tenths up, his personal best in the first sector. I wonder if he does get past Bobpia, can he catch the top 2? And also as well, look at Pease in P3. He's catching Speedcrown and Bobpia too. So great pace there for Pease. Maybe we could see a big battle for P3. I don't think Reservoir's catching. He's out of the equation. Demorts has dropped backwards too. The gap is 1.6. But look at Speedcrown there, just sliding the exit of turn 10. Plus, being in the dirty air is affecting his aero going towards the corners, his balance as well. So not able to get the floor he wants to, but he's able to stick at the back of the Aston Martin. And it's also allowing Pease to come close as well. Pease is utilising this fresh air to get closer towards Speedcrown. So this could be an interesting squad for P3. Bobpia has got to defend from Speedcrown and Pease because it seems like Bobpia doesn't have the pace around here to defend against these two. But Jeroen still can't get past the racing bull of Sieb. So both Sieb and Bobpia, they're both on the defensive in this Grand Prix. Actually, Pease has set the fastest lap of this race as well. Where's Nathan JB? Nathan JB's not here either. So Jacob Booth and Nathan JB's not here. I just realised that Nathan's not here. So hopefully those two return back. It doesn't seem that the track conditions are getting lighter as well. So it seems like these drivers have to withstand these conditions. Some people are very good in the wet. I think I'm very competitive in the wet. I do love the wet conditions, but it's all about time management as well. How long can you take these inters? I think it might be a one-stop, I'm not quite sure. I don't think the tyre wear is too bad around here like it is on the dry compound tyres, because if it was a normal race, would it be a two-stroke strategy around here in Zandvoort? Actually, Cross Liam now sets the fast up the Grand Prix, but of course on, I say newer tyres, only 2 lap difference between him and the rest of the guys there. All 90 drivers are still pointing in the right direction. We've seen a few good battles so far, but it looks like these guys, it's a stable race really. Not much happening around here in Zandvoort. We've got quite a field spread, as you expect, because these guys, of course, in the wet conditions, much more different to the dries. We have no DRS at all, and it takes a lot of skill as well to be consistent and quick. But look at this. Is this a big chance for Jeroen now, gaining in the slipstream as he pulls, as he tries to go down the inside in towards turn 1. Late breaking move there. The side by side in towards turn 1. Can Jeroen get a move stick? But CRL game is still there. Yes, he can. Jeroen takes the lead of the Grand Prix. He chose his moment and he made it stick. A fake double to the left, a dive to the right, and he did a Sebastian Vettel type move as well, as he did in the Spanish Grand Prix 2017. Steve was thinking, which way is he going to go? Left or right? He went left, he went right, then down the inside in towards turn 1 and made the move stick. What a fantastic move there. Can he pull away now? Can you revisit with track position pull away from the pole man of Seam, who seems to be struggling just a little bit? And also Pease has caught up as well in P5, so relatively good pace there for Pease. He's caught up towards the back of Speed Clown and ILT Bob here as well. So it looks like Yuri Vizza is stretching out his advantage. Sorry, I had to drink a bit of water because obviously I'm a lone commentator. But it looks like Yuri Vizza, with another quickest lap time of the Grand Prix, is stretching his advantage. Pease, however, fantastic pace there for him in P5. Catching Speedcran and Bob here, but now he's caught him. When he gets stuck behind him, does he have the pure pace to just go past? I wonder as well, if Speedcran does overtake Bob here, can he catch Steve? Because Steve seems to be struggling a bit as well. But Cohen is very happy with your move with that move down towards turn 1. I thought it was a brilliant move. It was a dive, but wasn't a dive bomb because it was nice and controlled on the brakes. He didn't force Steve off the track, gave Steve enough room in towards turn 1, and that's what you want to see in racing. Nice clinical position there for your move. Nice and controlled on the brakes too. Wasn't erratic in towards turn 1, wasn't out of control, kept the car in control, and had a very lovely exit too to get the move done in towards turn 1. He was patient, he was calculated, and he pounced at exactly the right moment as well. Stuck behind him for the last 7 laps, but finally overtook him. But Steve is still hanging on the back of the Haas driver there, so not letting him out of sight just yet is ILT Steve. But I wonder now, can you move with the clean air, try and find a way to break out the 1 second range of the Slipstream DRS and pull away, even though Steve is gaining as well, because Steve went from 9/10 to 4/10. I did notice as well that you really made a mistake out of turn number, I think it's the last 2 corners. So he did make a mistake out of the 2 corners, did Jeroen? And now Steve, once again, is all over the back of him, so it may not be over yet for the fight for the lead of the Grand Prix. Stay tuned, because this is an intense, incredible battle between these two. I wonder now, can Steve put the pressure on Yuri Vizza and try and get down the inside towards turn 1? It's been great races so far, a high-speed game of chess, a high-pressure situation in these wet conditions. A difficult track with difficult conditions really shows and showcases the skills of the drivers as well. And Bob Pierre, the gap is 2.1. It keeps fluctuating between Bob Pierre and Steve. It just seems to gain, then lose so much as well. So Bob Pierre's times are currently unstable so far in P3. My eyes are going as well. Just bear with me for a few seconds. I wonder who could be playing the long game as well, trying to extend the intermediates. Maybe Bob Pierre could be saving his inters, just dropping back a bit as well in P3, because tyre wear is very high. And we know that sometimes people might endure a puncher even on a one-stop strategy. I think the one-stop strategy is the way to go, but on this game, it's all about time management. Tracks like Austria, Mexico, I don't know. It's just track dependent really, if it's a 1 or 2 stop, but some scenarios a 1 stop does work, some scenarios a 2 stop might work. Recify now has the fast lap of the Grand Prix as well. The track doesn't seem to be drying out or getting better. It doesn't seem too bad as it was before. The 2 Alpines are scrapping away for P8 and P9 there. Look at these two, Harrison versus Palmer, and Harrison gets ahead of Harry as he puts himself up into P8 ahead of his teammate, as Harry Palmer just seems to be struggling there in P9, dropping backwards. Jasper in P17 has broken his wing. I just heard information in my ears that the Racing Bull driver has lost his wing. In fact, I was joking, I haven't heard any information. I just want to go on board with him and see how he's doing. But yes, Jasper has lost his wing unfortunately. He's putting pressure on Ferrari in front of him as a P16. His best friend Mick is behind him, and he's also lost his wing too for good measure. So I wonder if those two have came to blows. Mick and Jasper. Mick seems to be struggling a bit as well in towards Skyflop there. So lack of downforce in the first sector is going to hurt him dearly. can definitely hinder his performance as well in the high-speed corners. But Speedcar, though, must be so frustrated. The track is getting better and better, you know. It keeps going faster and faster, the track as well. Look at that, 20.2. That's almost a second quicker. At 20.0, Bob said. So the track is getting better. I wonder, when it stops raining in a few laps' time, and therefore the hardcore power tyres could be introduced into this race. We go from into to hard, I wonder. Mediums will be a stretch. But look at Sieb putting massive pressure on Jeroen Visser. So even though Jeroen got past Seymour Gamer, he hasn't disposed him. He hasn't dispatched him as quickly as I thought he would. On board with the racing boy, you could just see that Jeroen Visser right in front of us. Sieb is still showing some incredible pace, able to stick at the back of the Haas driver, because I thought he was struggling in the early stages of the Grand Prix, but it seems like Sieb is doing a mega job to hold on to second place and keep the battle of the lead going for the race as well. It's not the race you can see with the DRS trains, because there's a bit of a field spread throughout the field there, a few cars distributed in different places. Isaac Kush as well in P13 hasn't really made the impact I thought he would. He started in P11 down into 30th place. Look at Bonpierre going as well. Bonpierre's got some good pace, so despite struggling in the early stages, the gap is 1.4 seconds. So in the first few laps of the Grand Prix, was he just holding back, saving tyres as well, knowing that the stage would come? And how his tyre life and tyre preservation has been very good, and now it's helping him, because look at Sweetcar's dropped backwards. The gap is 1.3 seconds then. So has Bonpierre been saving tyres, and now he's the quickest driver on the track? I wonder if that could be the case. Maybe he's held back to save for later, while these two have absolutely pushed and worn out their tyres. In Bahrain, it worked for Speedcar. He held backwards, didn't put up a fight until he had to, and he had the best tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix during the Bahrain Grand Prix as well. So Bonpierre is closing in. The gap is 1.4 seconds there, so we could see a three-way fight for first. I wonder how Speedcar's pace as well is hanging on in P4 there. Maybe these inters are starting to reach the end of the P performance. I'm not quite sure how long a set of inters can go during the course of a Grand Prix, but I know for one thing for sure that their P performance have gone. It really shows you as well on this game that who has been looking after their tyres as well, because we're seeing Bonpierre dropping backwards. Maybe he was struggling in the first stint, maybe he's adapted to the wet conditions and finally found some pace in Aston Martin. Maybe he was just getting used to the track conditions. Has it stopped raining? It hasn't. So I think we're getting close to that stage where the rain will stop and we will see the hardcore power tyres introduced very shortly. There's one thing I wish as well, because in real life you can activate the DRS if the track conditions are safe enough. We saw it in Turkey, we saw it in Silverstone this year actually, where the DRS is enabled in the wet conditions. I really hope that's a feature on this game, but it all depends though how safe it is. We've got Red Spy in P6, who seems to be lonely. He's running his own race there in P6, not under pressure from anybody, but Harrison has caught up to Demort. So ever since he overtook Harry Palmer, his teammate, he's caught up to the back of Demort now and put him under pressure for P7. Elsewhere on the track, Isaac Kush is still catching Bosch Evans there. Den Dave is just outside the top 10 in 11th place there. Setting personal best in the first sector, going along really nicely. Ronnie Stiffwood is running his own race in P15. I think Ronnie Stiffwood is Nolan. I think it is anyway, Relentless Nolan. I think I found it out last week, as Bosch Evans has been overtaken by the Red Bull driver of Isaac Kush. So it must have been a mistake there in the first sector for Bosch Evans, which allowed the Red Bull to come through. Now he's up into P12, is Isaac Kush. Next target for him is Den Dave. The gap is 5.3 seconds now between himself and Dave. But look at Bonpierre, he's almost within a second of Seymour Gamer. So his pace in the last few laps has been absolutely clinical as well. Great pace from him. Maybe saved his tyres in the early stages of the Grand Prix, or just struggled in the early stages of the Grand Prix, and now he's adapted to these conditions. And Harrison gets ahead of Demort. Oh, sorry about that. I almost dropped my phone. Hence why I made that noise. So the first one in the pit lane is Dory. So it stopped raining on the circuit, and the hardcore power tyres are being attached to the Ferrari car. I wonder, is it too early, or has he chosen the right moment? We're about to find out, as Seymour Gamer seems to be struggling to stay within Jeroen's DRS. DRS will be enabled shortly, But I dare say this is one lap a bit too early. I don't know. About to find out. Here comes the leaders. Let's see what they do. Will they peel off as the pit lane at the end of this lap? This is the stage of the Grand Prix where things start to change now, as people around us will start to go on the Harry Palmer got off the track. Harry Palmer has gone off the track. Massive wheel spin as well at the exit of turn 9, so unfortunately he is struggling out there. But I wonder, let's see if anybody decides to go in the pit lane at the end of this lap. Here we are, Giroud coming towards the final corner. Will he pit? No, he stays out. So it is too early to pit, and Dari must have made the wrong choice. We're in the 19s, so it is definitely too early to come in the pit lanes. We're still in the 19s. There's a big phrase in Formula 1. Be on the right tire at the right time, and unfortunately Dari isn't. He's dropping backwards like a stone in P19. They're struggling as well, so that tells you that the hardcore powered tyres, the dry tyres, are not ready yet in this race. Just like in Silverstone with Russell, Leclerc as well, when they went on the dry powered tyres, and Alonso too, it just didn't work at all in their race. Ferrell's pitted as well to get rid of those intermediates. I wonder as well, are these people pitted early because the Inters might be coming towards the end of their life as well? Maybe these Inters could be close towards a punch, for example. I've seen it before. Look at Sieb sliding in towards turn 10 there and lost a whole heap of time against Giroud in first place. I have seen certain situations where the race stops with Inters about to come to the end of their life, and sometimes it's a bit too early to pit as well. So I think these guys are having to try and manage a bit in this stage of the Grand Prix, maybe close towards the puncher. So the Ferrari spun, that's Dari's gone for a spin, the exit of turn 10, and he's lost loads of times. I wonder why Ferrari pitted as well down in P18, as P is now set. The fast up of the Grand Prix. Bompier's not really catching Sieb. The gap has been stable, or shall I say stale, in the last few laps of the Grand Prix. Not really gone up or down, so it's been around the 1.4 area. Speed Crowd is still at the back of Bompier, so we've got a second in between each drivers. 1 second in between each other, but Speed Crowd under a second there against Bompier. I wonder who is struggling on tyres as well in this race. I saw it as well in the last game where somebody picked up a puncher. I think it was for a different league, and the race stopped around about now. And somebody in the last game picked up a puncher, so I wonder how long these Inters could go. Can they stretch it out until they have to go on the dry powered tyres? Maybe some people have to pit early because their Inters are absolutely shredded as well. So the race stopped in a precarious time, or precarious moment, it must be said. As we watch these cars sweep through in the chicane. Harrison is starting to gain a reservoir, so that's about for P6. We might have to keep an eye out for too. Harrison's storming through the field there. As we watch the leaders then go past one more time. Are they going to pit? And no, but somebody has gone for a spin. And that is Dari, who has headed back in the pit lane, unfortunately, and retires from the race too. Yep, he's retired. When people at the back spin in the pit lane, it means they're going to retire. That's the signature move. He paid a gamble, and unfortunately it didn't work out for him. I wonder how these guys' tyres are. Bosch Evans is now in the pit lane too to get rid of his intermediates. Here he is there to put on the hardcore powered tyres, but we've seen from his teammates that the hardcore powered tyres were not ready just yet in this race. I wonder who has saved their tyres the best as well, because these laps they've done on these Inters are past their point, they're past their best as well. These tyres must be screaming for grip. They should have flags in their first sets, but of course it's the driver that's retired, that's Dari. As Harry Palmer and then Dave are having to scrap for P10. Here is Harry Palmer then under massive pressure from Dave right behind. The Dutchman has been closing in, as Harry Palmer has made a few mistakes before as well, as we head in towards turn 10. I think these drivers are just fighting for grip, fighting for survival, making sure they don't get a puncher. It must be intense times for these guys as well on the intermediate tyres. They must be nervous as well on these Inters, worried about picking up a puncher. The track is still not ready. The rain ended about a few laps ago, and the track is still not ready. Sometimes the track can dry out immediately, but in this case it seems to be taking longer than expected for these drivers. They'll be desperate to get on the hard or medium compound tyres, as Leroy's pitted as well. So Leroy is in the pit lane. Here he is on his worn out inters. In the pit lane he goes. And that's the soft compound tyres. What's a huge blunder. That's definitely a two-stop strategy there for Leroy. Then Dave's on the hard compound tyres. So Leroy tries to do a lot of Stroll, but I don't think he's going to work. Mick has spared in the pit lane. That's a 10-second time penalty for him. But why is Leroy on the soft compound tyres? That is a bizarre strategy, I dare say. The only way this could work for Leroy if he's very quick right now on the gas, like literally takes out seconds and seconds and seconds out of people. That's the only way that strategy will work. Was it purposeful? Did he have the intention to go on the soft compound tyre, or was it just a mistake for Leroy? However, it's a definite two-stop for sure for the man from Ireland. I don't think has Leroy won a Grand Prix? I think he has, you know. I did see a stat of him winning the Grand Prix. I think it was last season when he won. So he's had experiences before. I've been on the podium too. He's a very competitive driver. Bob Pierce, Speed and P's are in the pit lane to get rid of their tyres. But Leroy has won, I think. No, he hasn't. That was qualified. He took all it. So I don't think Leroy has won a Grand Prix just yet in his time in CRL. He's been on the podium multiple times. His last podium was at the Spanish Grand Prix last season. But it's the hard compound tyres. It's the mediums from Reservoir. So they're on the hard compound tyres. But is it the right choice? Because Jeroen has stayed out there. Jeroen and C4 Gamer have gone for one more lap. Be on the right side at the right time, because if you're not, then I think Bob Pierce, Sweet and Peas might have a big chance of undercutting, because the track as well, it's unpredictable at times, and one lap could make a huge difference. Bosch Evans has said they're fast up in the Grand Prix the hard compound tyres, so that should show you some information that the hard compound tyres could be better. And it might be as well, because Bob Pierce catching Harrison and Reynolds. So by still at one lap later, I think Sieb and Jeroen might have cost themselves a little bit. I'm not quite sure. But Speedcrown is all over the back of Bob Pierre. He seems to be struggling once again on those hard compound tyres. The Dutchman can't find any grip at all. And Speedcrown's ready for the pounce. Sorry about that. Oh dear, the top two in this race. They have both picked themselves up a 10-second penalty. That's going to be detrimental. These two will not have a chance at winning this race at all. As Sieb seems to be stationary longer than he would have wanted. That's not a glitch. He's stationary longer for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. But that's a big blunder for Sieb, because he's got a 10-second penalty and he was stationary more than he would have wanted, because Jasper just came on the pit lane. His own teammate Jasper has caught him out as well. So that's a huge blunder there for Sieb. Sieb. So Jeroen Fizzler has got a mini compound tyre. So this race is between Speedcrown and ILT Bodpia. Speedcrown won the first race of the season at the Bahrain Grand Prix, as Bodpia got denied for him. But they're both on the same tyres, and this is a straight fight all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. Speedcrown has been stuck behind Bodpia for the whole race. And look at that, who's that ahead of us? That's the Haas of Jeroen, who's made a mistake. Jeroen has made a mistake out of the first sector there. And look at Speedcrown ready to pass it. Here he is with the DRS, no way. He's going to go down the inside in towards the chicane. He stays behind him as well, waiting for the right opportunity to strike. It's going to be so hot tomorrow in the UK. I've just checked the weather. It's going to be 32 degrees. I'm going to absolutely melt. But here we go, out of the banking towards the final corner. The DRS is wide open. Bob Pierce, Speedcrown and Jeroen, all in picture, all in frame for the lead of the Grand Prix. Pease is just outside the DRS range. As here comes... Oh, I was so close there. Speedcrown almost thought he had a chance to go down the inside there with Bob Pierre, but a safety car has been deployed. Yes, safety car has been deployed in this Grand Prix for some reason. Who's that off the track? Did I just see something off the track there? I'm not quite sure. So for some reason the safety car is out there for unknown reasons. Has somebody lost their wing? Nathan JB. Yes, it's Mick. Mick has lost his wing and the safety car has been deployed. As Nathan says, this is his third or fourth race he has missed so far. Nathan barely misses any races. Hopefully he returns next week for the third race, but it's a safety car. Now, safety car's been deployed. I'm going to finally take advantage of this and go to the toilet. Ronnie Stiff would have got a penalty, but I'll be back with you shortly, guys. I'm going to go to the toilet. Jeroen Reserve will serve his 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Oh, another penalty there for Jeroen Reserve. And Speedcon is in the pit lane to go on the mini compound tyres. So this should be interesting now. Bob Bush stayed out, but I'll be back with you very shortly. I'm going to take a quick toilet break and a water break too. I am back, and the safety car should be in at the end of the start. Let's take a moment now to see if I can relax and just talk about this race, because it's been a breathless, edge of your seat race, and we've still got more action to come. We've got the safety car being deployed, which means everybody has been bunched up. We've got people on different tyres. We've got Jeroen Visser, who is out of the Grand Prix. He just picked himself a drive-through penalty as they just came back. So the penalty, unfortunately, for Jeroen Visser has cost him big time. And little moments like that kind of define your race. It can make you break your race. A silly mistake like that, unfortunately, is a huge blunder for your race. So it has cost him big time. The safety car will stay out for one more lap, as Pharrell, Mick and Jasper will all catch up to the back of the safety car. So Bob Pitt is leading. He has track position. Reservoir is P2 on the mid compound tyres, with Demolts in third on the hard. So those three have gone for track position. Cross the ends in the pit lane again. He's got a 10-second time penalty for spinning the pit lane. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you risk it? Because you're under a safety car. Now you've got a penalty. What he was trying to do is be in the best tyres towards the end, be on the, have less laps on those mid compound tyres, and now he's got himself a penalty for spinning the pit lane. But to be fair though, that pit lane can catch a lot of people out. It's caught me out before. Will catch a lot of people out, unfortunately, because you arrive there at great speed, going to slam on the brakes as hard as you can and get down under towards 80 kilometers an hour. There is 11 laps left to go after the safety car ends. This should be an absolute thriller, should be intense, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. It could be carnage-filled race. It could be a race of attrition around here at the Dutch GP. All these drivers know that there's big opportunities for a podium/win. But who can manage the tyres, who can manage the pressure as well, who can be calculated in their attacks. We're going to increase the tempo very shortly in this race. These guys will be poised to make the use of this safety car and get up there as much as they can. The safety car is in at the end of this lap. The rain has faded away. The dry period has came, but still it could be actually bad. So about to find out what happens. Can Bob here defend from the guys behind? Speedcard is on a brand new semi-mini compound tyres. Watch out for him. He, the three-time world champion, is going to go 2 for 2 to win the Bahrain Grand Prix and have the best tyres here in 4th place. He's sitting pretty, Speedcard. Can he take another victory? We're about to find out. But we're about to find out what happens then. Should Bob here pit for a new semi-mini compound tyres? I wonder as well, because he could be huge trouble in P1 on the hards there, even though the final hold, the guys behind will have loads and loads of grip. Seaboard Game, what can he do from P7? Does he have the pace to catch back up and get his places back? Because they both deserve a podium, but those mistakes have been costly. As we go away for a restart, as we head down in towards turn 1, here comes the McLaren, but backs out of it. As we see Steve around the outside in towards turn 1. Can he make it stick? He can. Great move, good grip around the outside to get himself up into P7. Next target is the other Alpine. Oh, almost lost the car there. In towards turn 3 he went and just lost him in the car. But Streetcar is ahead of the bolts already. He's up into P3. Here goes P's now, looking to take advantage. The contact! And he's in the spin and he's hit the wall. He has lost his wing. Big contact between P's and a safety car is potentially out. It's a VSC. Demors has retired on the track. He is out of the Grand Prix. High speed contact going in towards turn 6 and turn 7. Pease has survived, but Demors, and it's a safety car. A safety car has been deployed. You can see on the bottom of your screen the yellow car appearing. So another safety car has been thrown into the mix to further neutralise this race. Just a waste in the pressure as well, because 3 cars now up into P3. No one to the box, unless you're the guys at the back of the field who might take a chance, but these guys won't. It could be ludicrous if they pit. This should be Speed Cars to win. He may have been stuck in 4th place, which was the Grand Prix, but he's seen other people around him make mistakes. Jeroen and Sieb, they had the pace, but unfortunately made mistakes by picking up penalties along the way. It's all about being consistent. It's all about having good pace as well. That's what you need as a driver. You can be very quick, but you've got to pay attention around you at all times. You've got to have your wits about you. You've got to have cat-like reactions. You've got to take every opportunity as well in this race. Because it looked like Sieb or Jeroen was the ones to win the Grand Prix, but unfortunately they both picked themselves a contested captaincy and that defined their race. Sieb is still there in P5. Sieb has a chance. And look at Harrison. Harrison is up into P4, so he's made some good ground and good progress so far. Watching other people struggle, and he's made some good overtakes as well. He maybe could be on course for podium because Reservoir and Bob here on all the tyres as well. So watch out for Harrison in P4. He's got Sieb, who'll be looking for redemption and revenge after what happened at the first safety car. It's been a roller coaster race, lots of emotions, ups and downs throughout the field. It's been a road race as well, fast changing, unexpected race as well, because we thought for one moment that Sieb or Jeroen Visser were the ones to win with their blistering pace, but they both shot themselves in the foot by speeding in the pit lane. And that's when opportunities come for Speedcar as well, who's been so patient in P3. He could have a big chance of winning. Like I said seasons ago, this is the Speedcar we've known for years. He just always find a way to win, always. I remember me, Steban, Bob Pierre, well not Bob Pierre because he's been racing in Division 1, but me, Bunnies, Steban, and whoever else was commentating with Yogurt as well. We've always said that Speedcar always find a way to win. I can't exactly remember who has been my co-commentators in the past few years because I've had numerous commentators alongside me. It's been a sensational turnaround for Speedcar now in P3 and Harrison for P4 too. But their race, unfortunately for Jeroen Visser and also Seaboard Gamer, has unravelled since that first safety car. This could be a nail-biter towards the Grand Prix. Bob Perez on all the mini compound tyres, Speedcar, Harrison, Sieb and the rest of the guys below, except Leroy, on newer mini compound tyres. Is this delaying the inevitable? Is safety car delaying the inevitable there for Bobbio? Whose fault was it? I don't know. It's a high-speed corner, tight corner as well. We saw that Pease was desperate to get past. He didn't want to lose any time towards Speedcon and the rest of the field. But it allowed Harrison through. It allowed C4 Gamer through. I think he's escaped with no front wing damage. He's still there in P6. Do you know what? Pease is also the one to watch out for. But that moment, unfortunately, has cost himself, I dare say, maybe a podium. As the safety car is in for the second time in this race. A safety car in the space of a few laps. The first one caused by Mick, the McLaren driver, and the second driver caused by the Moss and Pease in the Mercedes and the McLaren. Here we go then. This race is going to get spicy and interesting once more as we're locked into battle for the final laps of this Grand Prix to conclude the Dutch Grand Prix. It's been an absolute thriller, but we're not done yet because there's still more to come. More twists and more turns potentially. We'll see if Bob is defending. It's great enough to keep Speedcar behind, but it's going to be a mighty challenge with those hardcore power tyres. Speedcar is in the best spot in the house to win this Dutch GP. As long as you keep it nice and clean, get rid of reservoir and go after Bob here. But here we go then, as they all weave to get the extra temperatures in their tyres. The race gets underway once again for the safety car restart as we are underway for the Dutch GP for the second time in this race. As we head down towards turn 1, we see Hyde Palmer and Leroy going side by side in towards turn 1, the neck and neck, in towards the first corner. But Leroy drops out of it, and here comes the Red Bull driver Isa Kush with better grip on those mini compound tyres. Leroy tries to hang around the outside, goes on the gravel, and luckily for him, he does not take out anybody, but he hits the wall going down in towards turn 3. I thought for 1 second he would rejoin in the path of another car oncoming as he loses loads and loads of places. Why did Leroy not pit either? As we see a few cars go side by side. Leroy had nothing to lose down there, but for some reason he did not pit, so another blunder for his race. He was on the soft compound tyres though, to be fair, and I'm not quite sure where he was during the first course of the safety car when he was on the softs, but that's definitely helped him, the safety car, because he was on soft compound tyres. You can see Bob here weaving there. There is yellow flag somewhere. Is that a glitch? Yeah, it's a glitch, so ignore that yellow flag for the time being. But who is going to win the Dutch GP? You expect Speedcar and the odds are pretty much at stake for him to win this Dutch GP. Look at Harrison as well, closing on the back of Speedcar, so maybe Harrison has a big chance of winning. DRS is enabled on the next lap. Bob here with a huge train of cars behind him, ready to pounce on him at any given moment. Speedcar goes deep in the corner. Here comes Harrison, not really a move in towards turn 1. The door will be firmly shut in his face as he experiences that as we headed down in towards turn 3 then. They're all so close, compacted in one big DRS train. Remember in the first stint, they were all separated, all had their own gaps, as we see Dead Dave drop down the order in P15 there. And he's unfortunately rejoined at the back of the field. I'm not quite sure if he made contact with anybody or not, but as a result, it's dropped him down towards 15th place. And thankfully, he got rid of the yellow flag glitch. So thanks for that, Dave. No, I'm only kidding. All these guys pushed up together. It could be anybody's game. It could be anybody's race to win, I dare say. We're stuck in this DRS train as it normally is in the Grand Prix, but Reservoir keeping Speedcar at bay for the time being then. So I thought Speedcar would be on Reservoir's gearbox at any given moment. I thought he'd get rid of him quickly as well, but it doesn't seem like it. As we head towards the final two corners, Bob seems to be under huge pressure as well. All the guys behind him have DRS. Look at Harrison right behind Speedcar once again as we head onto the main straight. Here comes Reservoir for the lead of the Grand Prix. The kicks out, but leads the Grand Prix for the first time in this race. For the first time since the Monaco Grand Prix. And look at that, who's dropped down the order? Reservoir's dropped down the order. What on earth happened to him? Did Bob here make contact with him? Did he lose on the grass in towards turn 1? What a shame for Reservoir. High chance of a win, maybe a podium for sure, at least, or P4. But now he's rejoined P9. What a turnaround in this race, unfortunately for him. He must be absolutely frustrated as Dead Dave has retired in the pit lane. As Mick has retired, and the safety car has came out once again. Mick, there's two cars crashed. That is Pharrell and Mick in towards turn 7. They have both crashed and became a cropper. A third safety car. Come on, guys, what's going on? You would have thought safety cars would have came out during the rain period. We had no safety cars, no virtuals in the first half of this Grand Prix. But when it came to the dry period, we've had 3 safety cars, man. What's going on? It's a typical Dutch GP, isn't it? Where safety cars come out. So, safety cars come out once again. What are these guys going to do? Surely not the soft car power tyres, you don't think? Nah, I think it's going to be a bit risky. losing track position. I wasn't expecting this many DNS as well in this Grand Prix. But Bob Pierre is going to die. No, he's not. And into the pit lane comes Harrison. Into the pit lane. He's the only one that's pitted. And I dare say he will drop. Or, yes, he will. He will drop all the way to the back of the field. Leroy's pitted too. So Harrison has cost himself, I dare say. I don't think he can make his way through back to the order and get up to second or third place. There's no way. But it's going to be a sprint all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. That's for sure. Bob Pierre must be absolutely relieved that these safety cars are coming out because it's preventing Sweet Crown overtaking him. Sweet Crown's not had many chances to overtake Bob Pierre ever since he pitted on the minicar part tyres. What it's doing though is saving the life of those mediums. Those mediums definitely have some good grip in them still to try and go towards the end. Sieb is back in the podium with P3, so despite his problems, by speeding under a safety car in the first stint, he's up there in P3 back in the podium. Can ILT Bob Pierre win at his home Grand Prix? The top three are all Dutch people, and the Dutch crowd will be absolutely delighted to see their drivers up there. The last time Bob Pierre won was at the Australian Grand Prix, and that was last season. So that's the last time Bob Pierre tasted victory in CRL. You remember, Bob Pierre's been in CRL for such a long time, since what, 2020, 2021? When he started in the Alfa Romeo, he put up podiums along the way. He had 8 podiums. He put up so many podiums along the way, but just couldn't seem to win. It was like a Nick Heidfeld situation where he just went so many races without a win, unfortunately. But that run has ended, and he's even now, for me, a championship contender along with Sweet Crown Sieb, Nathan Pease, anybody, whoever's got the pace and the consistency to try and challenge for the championship. So I wonder what happened to Mick, and let's have a look to see. So Nolan has sent a video in the chat, and let's see what happened between Mick, if he's caught it or not. So Mick is catching Pharrell, and they both barge each other, and Mick goes into Pharrell and crashes him out. Wow. Mick, I'll have to take the blame for that one. He just wiped out Pharrell, unfortunately. So, yeah, a slam dunk there for Mick. Mick should have been a bit more patient there. I don't think there was a move, really, for Mick to go on there. Should Pharrell give a bit more space around the outside? However, they both kept banging wheels and barging into each other, and as a result ended their race. So for the third time of asking, the safety car is in at the end of this lap. No safety cars, I don't think, at the Bahrain Grand Prix, but 3 of them here at the Dutch GP as we finally get racing once again. Who is going to win around here in Zandvoort? Bob Pierre, Sieb, or Sweet Crown, or Pease? Could be any of the top 4, but Bob Pierre is in the most unfortunate situation, it must be said. You can see all 12 cars actually in one picture. As we now exit the final corner, Bob Pierre has controlled the restarts very nicely, and knowing when to go, not giving the slipstream towards Sweet Crown, but they're all crawling on the back in there. This is surely Sweet Crown's big chance to win the Dutch GP with his mini compound tyres as they weave left to right to pick up the temperature. And when will Bob Pierre drop the hammer? And Bob Pierre drops the hammer right now as we go racing once again. As here we are in towards turn 1. Here comes the RB and the Mercedes side by side. Pease is up into P3. What a move from Pease. Goes around the outside, but Sieb is still there, not giving up. As we go in towards turn 2, Pease around the outside has taken P3 away. What a fantastic move there for Pease. Caught Sieb off guard, but out losing traction out of turn 4 there. But still has the race to line and keeps ahead of Sieb. Sieb, we disappointed with that one for sure. He wants a podium after his bad luck getting a 10-second penalty. Self-inflicted, of course. but he knows there's a big chance of winning or a podium on the cards after seeing Bumpy on the hardcore power tyres. Can Bumpy defend from the guys behind on the hards? If he can, what a mighty try. But look at Steve, out of shapes. Harry Palmer from out of nowhere. Harry Palmer was dropping like a stone on the intermediates. He was outside the top 10. Now he's up into P5 and potentially challenging Steve Gamer. This has been the worst restart for Steve in this race, and it's dropped him a podium as well. But there's still 2 laps to go to do something about it. But however, Pease audacious around the outside, great move around the outside towards turn 1. Now putting pressure on Speedcrown, he's putting pressure on Bobbia. DRS will be enabled on this lap, but no DRS on the straight because the detention point is at the back, or should I say the final corner on the banking. Oh, here comes Steve. That's not really a move for Steve. He stuck his nose in the wrong place there. That wasn't really on, I dare say, for Steve Gamer at P5, and that's unfortunately wrecked his race in P5 there. Pease was under no obligation to give him space because he wasn't fully alongside. I think Steve just let the throttle go and tried to get alongside him. He expected Pease to give him space, but unfortunately that move was never on at all. But it's going to be a last lap move for Speedcrown now. It's going to be a last lap of battles as Bosch Evans overtakes Isaac Kuss, who seems to be struggling there in the Red Bull. Now he has the Kick Saber, who tries to go around the outside, but yeah, outbreaks himself and takes out Reservoir, and 2-3 cars go through. Reservoir will not be happy with that one, as Isaac Kuss there blocked, defended him. And should I go on back on board with that battle? Harrison up into P9. He did go on the soft car power tyres, remember, hasn't paid dividends at all. But here we are. It is the final lap of the Grand Prix. Who is going to win the Dutch GP? It's going to be Bumpy for the first time since Australia last season. It's going to be Speedcrown who won the first race of the season at Bahrain. Or is it Pease? Here we go down the main straight as we head down towards turn 1. Here comes Speedcrown to take the lead of the Grand Prix. And Bumpy could not do anything about it at all, as he might have to settle into P2 because there's surely no chance of re-overtaking Speedcrown. There is a DRS zone, but it's too short, I dare say. I don't think Bumpy could do anything about Speedcrown at all. Pease in the background, a bit wide out of turn number 5. And Harry Palmer, look at Harry Palmer go in P4, right to the back of Pease as well. And look at that, Steve is right to the back of Harry Palmer. So big pressure for P3. Bumpy is not letting Speedcrown go. He's right behind him, but I dare say there's no more chances for him to get past. There's no way out of turn 9 to go down the inside towards 10. He's not close enough. He's not close enough at all to make a lunge. With the DRS open, Bumpy will be frustrated with that one. But Speedcrown chose the right strategy to go on the mini-car power tyres. The safety car kept delaying his chances and ruined his chances to overtake Bumpy. It should have been done a long time ago, but better late than never. But here we go towards the final 2 corners. Here is Speedcrown, the Dutchman who won at the Bahrain Grand Prix, will come across the line to win his home Grand Prix. Speedcrown wins. Once again, Bumpy is right behind to finish in P2. Pease is on the podium. What an incredible drive from Pease in P3. Harry Palmer with an excellent result to finish in P4. What a great end towards the Dutch GP. Not the ending we wanted, but it was great racing nonetheless. There's 3 safety cars in one race. And that will see the Dutch GP then. It is a Dutch 1-2. And Speedcrown takes his second win of the season, 2 for 2. The three-time champion back on form, as you usually expect from him. Now, Bob here will be absolutely devastated with that one in P2. Almost got Speedcrown towards the end, but a bit too far back. As P's P8 to P3, Harry Palmer P12 to P1. Steve Gamer, that 10-second penalty ruined his race. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, Steve. He's a very quick driver, but makes mistakes. Hence why he does lose out in the races in terms of longevity. You have amazing pace, but sometimes you've got to be 100%. You've got to be 100%. What's the word again? I forgot the word. Never mind. Bosch Evans in P6, Harrison P7. Consistent. You've got to be 100% consistent for Steve Gamer. Bosch Evans P6, great job for him. Harrison P7, crosses him at P9. Look at Jasper. Jasper is inside the top 10. What a great drive from Jasper to get himself back inside the top 10 for the first time since all those years ago in 2022. Well, on the podium is Bobbia for the second race in a row, and the top two as the same as Bahrain. It was Sweetcrown in first, Bobbia in second place, and this time around the Dutch GP the same way. Bobbia couldn't defend from Sweetcrown, but here he is in the party. We get to chat to the Dutchman and us. Welcome to Bobbia to the podium. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. Cheers.
You're welcome, and I can definitely tell by your tone of voice that you're disappointed a little bit as well. Do you, in hindsight, it was a wonderful thing to pit, but what was going through your mind when that safety car came out? Did you think pitting was the right thing to do, or at the time were you a bit skeptical about it?
No, in general, the pitting there wasn't better. I mean, there were like 12 racing laps left, I think, and usually hards become better than mediums after 4 or 5 laps. So in general, hards are a better tire on this game. So if there would have been 12 laps of racing, I would have been leading. And yeah, Sweetcar would have, and Resify would have been a bit behind. Sure, I could have won, but yeah, 2 more safety cars came out, so my tires were absolutely just ice, and their mediums could warm up a little bit more. Then as well, in going into sector 3, my braking reference got destroyed by someone, and of course Wouter has line, so he has his braking reference still. Yeah, just made it quite impossible for me.
Well, you did your best, nonetheless. Did a fantastic job as well during the course of the Grand Prix. Took us through the first stint because you seem to be dropping away from the top two of Jeroen and Seaboard Gamer. But later on, around like 30, 14, 15, you were closing in. Were you struggling in the first stint, or were you managing the first stint? Because you started to gain on the top two again. So I'm intrigued to see what you were doing in the first stint.
Yeah, I was just really struggling in the first 5 laps, and I never really did any wet laps on this game, so I had to learn how to drive it. And then yeah, as you said, after like 10 laps, I noticed how to drive, and yeah, I think I was the fastest out of the top 5. So if I figured that out earlier, I could have been better. Also, C did a mistake at lap 101, so if I knew how to drive there, I could have taken the lead, but unfortunately, it didn't happen.
And also, mate, how close were you to a puncher? Because the track dried out, and it took a long time for the track to fully dry out to go on these slick tyres. So, were you close to a puncher?
Yeah, I think I was at like 70%, which that also influenced the decision to go into the pit lane. I had to try something, and yeah, tires were dead, so 70%.
You had a great battle with Sweetcrown, and it looks like you and Sweetcrown are going to have loads and loads of battles this season. You've definitely got the pace, but you just, yeah, like you said, put at a disadvantage because obviously those safety cars really wrecked your race because those mini compound tyres were supposed to fade away. The hard compound tyres could be better than the guys around the medium. So you really put a massive disadvantage, but are you expecting to be in the championship fight now with the pace you have in the early stages of the season?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 2 second places, it's a shame that Wouter has been P1 in both. We'll see how the championship goes, of course. I'm on holiday a couple rounds, he's probably on holiday a couple rounds. Depends on, yeah, just depends on the consistency, I guess.
If he is on holiday, he'd probably take his PlayStation with him, so he'll probably turn up at every single race. But yeah, Bobbia, well done today, mate. I know it's a P2 for you, I know you wanted more, but consistency is key, and it's a good start to the year. You need to set the foundations up for the rest of the year to have a good start and have a good flow.
Yeah, definitely important. I didn't do that last year, it was just inconsistent, so hopefully it's better this one.
How do you feel for the British GP, which is next Thursday, mate?
I mean, it's going to be a reverse. So I've done 2 5 laps, I think, around there. And for the rest, I'll try to learn the whole track within an hour next week. Sounds fun.
Well, thank you very much for joining me in the podium interviews, mate. I know Peas and Speaker don't do interviews no more, but thank you very much, mate. It's been a very good race for you. Kept it nice and consistent as well. You watch other people around you. What was your reaction? What was your reaction with Peas? Not Peas. Bobbia. Sorry. What was your reaction with C?
Resify.
No, yeah, you can talk us about that as well.
When Resify, he overtook me and then spun, I think. And then right after the safety car came out, I was actually quite annoyed. Not only because he spun, and it's nice to see another RT member up there, but I didn't have my DRS anymore. So if you're in P2, it's much easier to finish P1, which is a late safety car. So yeah, a bit annoying for both him and me.
And as well, your reaction to the Sieb and your revisit incident speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah, just laughing. It's funny. I was I was busy making mistakes on those fresh hards because the track was still a little bit damp, and I went off in sector two, which made me lose like 2 seconds. Also caused me to not be ahead of Jeroen. But yeah, the fact that Siep had the double stack as well, both he and Jeroen got 10 seconds. It was yeah, quite funny.
Yeah, I saw that because when Sieb into the pit lane, I was like, why are the mechanics waiting? What are they doing? They're not waiting for a 10 second penalty, they're waiting for some reason. Then I realised, oh, Jasper has just come to the pit lane. So it's really cost Sieb
Yeah.
big time. And how do you feel for Sieb? Because he's got really good pace like you. Like you two are evenly matched, I dare say, but your consistency seems to be a bit better. You make less mistakes. So what what do you think that Sieb does wrong during the Grand Prix? Because he's super quick, but doesn't seem to piece it together.
I mean, today it wasn't really doing anything wrong, just unlucky. But no, it's of course last week as well. You also got unlucky, by the way, with Bosch Evans being Bosch Evans. But he doesn't do anything wrong. But it's yeah, we've been racing since season 4, I think, and we've also always been like next to each other in standings. I think this game he's definitely faster than me because he just drives it way more. And yeah, what went wrong today, I don't know. But it's a bit funny because his ego. You heard him as well last week during the interviews. He was gonna, oh yeah, easy win, 10 seconds gap, and you see where he is now. So yeah,
Yep,
that's
I
just a
forgot.
funny thing.
I forgot about that, but yeah, thank you for mentioning that. That was funny. That's something to clip and put in the chat for this week. But Bob, your mate, thank you so much for the interview, and I'll see you whenever, mate. Maybe next Monday. Yeah, definitely next Monday because
I hope so.
I'll commentate. I'll be commentating with you on Monday. Not with you, but on you on Monday. So, good luck for Monday, mate, and good luck for next Thursday. And I'll see you all next week on Thursday for the third race of the season in Silverstone. See you all later. Goodbye.